And there we have it. The 2024 UK election is over, and as we've expected for quite some time, we have a new Labour government. So this is going to be my review of what happened in the general election. So let's start over in Northern Ireland. Now, you could be forgiven for not knowing that there was a general election happening in Northern Ireland, given how little attention it was given. But actually, there was some potentially pretty big goings on. Republican Party Sinn Féin became the largest party by managing to hold on to all 7 of their seats. Their rivals, the DUP, did not fare so well as they lost 3 of theirs, most notably in North Antrim, a seat that had been held by Ian Paisley's family for 54 years. The question now is whether this will give Sinn Féin the momentum to push for a referendum on a united Ireland. Over in Wales, and Labour's troubles in the Welsh Synod did not seem to have harmed them too much, as the Tories were evicted from Wales, losing all of their seats. And Plaid Cymru would have been happy with their night, doubling their total number of seats to 4, with an eye on upcoming Welsh elections. The story up in Scotland was all about the collapse of the SNP, as Labour made major inroads, and the SNP went from 48 seats to just 9. The question of Scottish independence is now seemingly dead. Back in England, and the Green Party celebrated their best ever results as they took 4 seats in the Commons, and the Liberal Democrats celebrated their return as a major force in UK politics as they picked up 72 seats, their best result in over a century. And much in keeping with the offbeat style of their campaign, Ed Davey celebrated to the tune of Sweet Caroline. Now on to Reform. And despite all their bluster, the milkshakes, all their false accusations, and their claims they were about to become the official opposition, in the event they claimed just 5 seats, though one of them was unelected leader Nigel Farage, winning at the 8th attempt. Future for Reform? Well, Nigel Farage says what he wants to do in the next 5 years is to turn it into a mass nationalist movement. But there could be another future in store for him. More on that later. But first, let's have a look at the Tories. The Conservatives were basically doomed from the start, trailing in the polls. So it was that 6 weeks ago, Rishi Sunak, to the sounds of things can only get better, and in the pouring rain, he announced we were going to have a general election. He was about to try and convince the country he had a plan for them when he couldn't even plan for the weather. Sure, Sunak put up a fight, but any hopes he had of winning the election were left on a beach in Normandy when he ran out on D-Day commemorations to do an ITV interview. And come election night, the Conservatives lost several high-profile MPs, such as Jacob Rees-Mogg, Defence Secretary Grant Shapps, Deputy Chairman Jonathan Gullis. Even former Prime Minister Liz Truss lost her seat. But perhaps most significantly for the Conservatives was the loss of Leader of the Commons, Penny Mordaunt. More on that in a moment. And so it was that on the Friday morning, Rishi Sunak formally announced his resignation as Prime Minister. In a speech that showed the dignity and humility that had been so sorely lacking from some of his predecessors. But the question now becomes, what is the future for the Conservative Party? Now reduced to a historic low of 121 seats. Who will be the new leader? Well, with Penny Mordaunt losing her seat, that leaves just one realistic contender. Suella Braverman. Very much a hard right figure, and her appointment as leader could be good news for one Nigel Farage. You see, Suella and Nigel have been making eyes at each other for quite a while now. So if Braverman were to become the Conservative Party leader, that could open the door for Nigel Farage to come into the fold and take a high-level position. Now, as to whether that would definitely happen, only time will tell. The big winners, of course, were the Labour Party, who took 412 seats, giving them a 170-seat majority. It wasn't all rosy, though. Labour only actually took 34% of the vote, and they lost several seats to independent pro-Gaza candidates, including one Jeremy Corbyn. But that's all very much by the by. They are the UK government now, and that's what matters. In his speech, Keir Starmer promised to be a Prime Minister not just for Labour, but for everyone. And he has wasted little time in getting to work on that. He's already appointed his cabinet and held his first cabinet meeting. How things will pan out from here, we will have to wait and see. So those are all the key points to come out of the 2024 general election. The United Kingdom has a new Prime Minister, and I am looking forward to seeing him in his first PMQs as the Prime Minister, but also to see who will be standing across the chamber from him. If you have enjoyed this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Help an angel get its wings by hitting the notification bell. And if there's someone you don't like, maybe you can share this video with them. And I will see you in 2029.